I couldn't get to them by phone. No emergency line exists. Nothing. They canceled my ticket without notifying me. Instead, they just sent me a confirmation before my flight, the day before my flight. Why? If it was canceled, let me know. Let me know it's canceled and I'll figure the rest out. But they haven't done it. Don't know why. Just a horrible, horrible agency. So during the month of June 2022, I booked my tickets from Toronto Pearson to London Gatwick Airport in England um, through a travel agency called Travel2Be. And it was for a direct flight departing on October 5th, 2022, and arriving on the morning of October 6th, and then flying with Air Transat, but returning with WestJet on the October 16th. Back then, I paid the full amount and I received a confirmation email with all the flight details, so everything was good. Every now and then, I checked back to verify that everything was good with tickets and I still had them, it was all fine. And the week of my departure, last week, I received an email of confirmation for my upcoming trip, as well as a notification that it is soon time to check into my flight using the online check-in services. Unfortunately, I was not able to successfully check into my flight 24 hours prior to it due to some maintenance issues of the Air Transat website. So it's fine. I waited to come to the airport to do the check-in. Therefore, I arrived even earlier than I planned to. Since I didn't have any luggage to check in, I arrived. It was going to be quick. I was sure it was going to be quick. So I arrived 3 hours in advance just to be sure to have enough time. And when I arrived there was actually no lines, so it's perfect. I came out to the agent, the counter, and he told me he couldn't see a valid ticket under my name for tonight's flight. He went down a few rows to see his manager. He came back confused, and I got worried, of course, but I was sure I still had my tickets. It was just a misunderstanding, and it's just taking them some time. But no, he returned telling me that my ticket was just canceled by the third party that I booked through, which is Travel2Be. So of course I was confused, panicked, as I never received a cancellation notice, and I was now stranded at the airport late at night. Um, it was horrifying. The airline could not fix it over there, and they sent me to call their customer service line, their emergency customer service line, and after spending a whole hour and a whole hour and a half on the phone with them and crying, thinking I would not get to my destination, I was forced to purchase the same round trip ticket for more than double the original amount that I have paid back in June. And my return flight was canceled as well. It was just a nightmare. I got to my flight just on time for boarding, but it, it, I demand a full refund and a compensation for the full amount I had to pay for that new flight as well as the original one because it it's not fair. I never received a cancellation email. I only received the confirmation saying that my flight is ready. Um, so yeah, just horrible. To be honest, the most frustrating thing about the whole situation is that I never received a cancellation notice, and then I had to pay more than double the amount of the original flight that I paid for, which is $1,400. I had to pay at the airport over there for to receive a new flight when I have already paid around $600, $700 prior to that, um, and I never received a cancellation notice. If I would have received a cancellation notice, I would have known. I would have booked a new flight, and it would have been fine. I wouldn't have minded. But I paid for that flight, the first one, plus the new one, which was last minute. So of course it was more than double the amount that it would have been, and so I paid overall more than $2,000 Canadian. Just horrifying. So in the moment itself, I tried to contact the company, the travel agency, Travel2Be themselves, but Their two phone lines that I've tried calling were not working. They just dismissed the call and declined it. So the only choice I had to do during that moment, that particular moment, that was in the airport crying. The only thing I could have done was just to purchase a new ticket or call Air Transat themselves, their emergency phone line, which they answered pretty quickly. I was there for an hour and a half with them, calling, trying to figure this out. But of course, they weren't the ones who canceled my ticket, so they couldn't really do much except just offer me a new ticket, um, which was costing a lot, $1,400 Canadian. But Travel2Be still hasn't returned my emails, and hasn't returned any calls, no emails. So I'm left with, I just paid more than $2,000, and the travel agency is not helping me. Now, for my particular issue, what I'm looking for is a full compensation, a full refund for first the original amount that I paid for back in June, and I got the confirmation from it. Secondly, I demand a full refund of the new flight that I had to pay for because it was more than double the original amount that I should have paid for this flight for the round trip, which is $1,400 Canadian. It is way too much for this flight. There's a reason why I wanted to book it back in June and not last minute because I want it to be really inexpensive for me because I am a university student. I don't have much money. This is I just don't want to pay that full amount. And now in total I paid $2,000. It's insane. So I demand a full refund and a compensation. That's all.